Hey y'all, you are watching Phalon Reacts. Yep, we are back again we're changing some of the formats for our Saturday bites. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something because this channel is supposed to be about pop culture. And one of the major things in pop culture right now is actually AI. And a major thing came up because I know quite a few people use OpenAI, especially if you are a YouTuber. It's great for research and whatnot. But apparently, there is a lawsuit ongoing. The New York Times is actually trying to get all the chat logs from ChatGPT. And apparently, the judge for the trial said yes. And I know that freaked me out. I use it all the time. Not to write the scripts or anything. It's great for information, great to just spitball ideas like, oh, what if this happened in this movie? What if that happened? Because I like testing what if. Then again, I grew up in the 90s. Fanfiction.net was a thing. But let's talk about it. First of all, the thing, because this whole video is going to be talking about the 10 things y'all need to be aware of if you do use it. If you don't, you can just turn off this video. So the first one is millions of chat logs are being requested. Yeah, they're practically, I think they said 99% of the chat logs will be given to the New York Times lawyers. And I say the lawyers, not directly to New York Times. That did freak me out. I had to double check some stuff because, oh my. But here's the thing. They have to be anonymized. It can't have anything to show who said what. Just proof that it happened, that copyright infringement happened. People were actually using copyrighted stuff. And yeah, it looks like, yeah, that stuff is going to get anonymized. So personal information is going to be scrubbed. Any personal video, any personal photographs you uploaded to ChatGPT will not be included at all, which that's a good thing, at least in my opinion, that's a good thing. Which brings us to number 2. Anonymization is the important part of this. So don't go freaking out. I know a lot of us will, but yeah, they cannot have that personal information because you cannot give that personal information to a lawyer. They will just be getting what's left of the logs. And it's not like they get to keep the information. They're just trying to prove that copyright infringement, plagiarism did happen. The judge actually said what OpenAI is going to do is very exhaustive and sufficient for the privacy, because if you break privacy, that opens up entirely new doors and lawsuits that I don't think anybody in this trial really wants to face. Let's be real. But even though a lot of stuff is being scrubbed, like blacked out, they can't see it, they don't even get the information. Some indirect identifiers can apply. That's our number 3. So there are small anecdotes or unique details that might let someone identify a user, though it's very unlikely. They would have to be digging through specifically to target specific people. But the lawyers aren't going to be able to keep any of this information. They're going to have to destroy it because a lot of this stuff is probably going to be thrown out because it's not going to be useful. It won't be relevant to the case that is ongoing, which is about copyright. And just so you know, nothing gets to be kept. Like I said, nothing gets to be kept by New York Times. That's an important part that we all really need to consider with a situation like this. And they are only getting text. If you share a PDF, they don't get that. Any personal things, it's just blocks of text. That's it. And yeah, for number that generally is number 4. Number 5, legal restrictions are on New York Times. And like I've said, New York Times does not get any of your personal information. The lawyers representing them, yes. But at the same time, they don't get to keep anything they find. They can only use what fits this case. And going into number 6, the focus is on copyright. This is not about banning AI. I know that upsets some people because they would love to ban AI. Me, personally, nah. AI is too useful. And to be perfectly honest, ChatGPT has been heavily defanged over time. They're having to pull back some of what they have actually done. They've actually tried to make it as safe as possible and to prevent people from like harming themselves, falling in love with the AI. There are certain protections put in, and some of the stuff is having to be rolled back because it's basically toddler proofed everything, treating everyone like a toddler, which kind of sucks. So also, if you are using ChatGPT to help with your writing, to write books, you will not be blocked from that. This will not affect that. This is just looking for plagiarism on this whole thing. And OpenAI has actually said that 99.9% of the logs are irrelevant. They are not going to help the trial. So that's why I'm like, most of the stuff is going to be deleted, is going to be burned in fire, or just little pieces of paper. But yeah, going into number 8, the ruling highlights AI privacy realities. And this is something people need to understand. Just because you tell the AI something does not mean it's going to be private forever. So you really need to be careful for the amount of information you give any AI. Especially since the people that do the programming can't see it. Any conversations you're having are not private. So if you treat the AI like a person, understand, yeah, you are kind of being watched. Number 9, potential implications for AI development. Okay, so I know that if the courts find AI is misusing copyrighted content, it could change how the models move from here on out, but it will not restrain any of the users. Sometimes you have to be really creative when you're doing prompts. And this is something I've had to do a lot of prompts with ChatGPT about getting around some of the stuff that's really aggravating, because it will give me the same answer 3 times and I have to state, please do not repeat statements. It can be annoying as crap. Let's be honest. And honestly, the AI companies need more data to better provide this as a resource. They are doing it on the free. So number 10, this is what people need to understand. Your identity is mostly shielded, not completely shielded. This will reveal indirect parts of the conversation. And you really need to understand, do not share your personal information with ChatGPT, with Copilot, with Gemini. It's just really not a great idea because of situations like this. Also, you're 100% being watched. And that could come up in a lawsuit later on if something catastrophic happens, like something gets leaked, because that is always a concern. I'm not saying privacy is dead, but you need to understand what you're using and who might actually be watching. But honestly, I don't think anybody's really interested about what I thought about what would happen if Game of Thrones had been written well. But that's just me. It's just this whole situation, AI is evolving. And now digital conversations exist in legal and corporate ecosystem. So if you're chatting just for fun, you are not in any sort of danger. So don't worry about that. Unless you're doing something illegal, then you might want to be worried. But keep all of that in mind. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch y'all on the flip side.